Welcome everyone to the Cowgirl Channel of Canada. We're excited to share with you some amazing stories that will inspire and motivate you from Canadian cowgirls all across our beautiful country, showcasing Canada's most experienced cowgirls to up-and-coming young women in the cowgirl industry. We will be featuring women in all aspects of the Western industry, from ranching to arts and entertainment, to women that can do all things cowgirl and with a cowgirl spirit. A place to share knowledge of some amazing women and to honor the way of the Canadian cowgirl. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Cowgirl Channel of Canada, the way of the Canadian cowgirl. We are so excited to share with you this very special interview with one very special Canadian cowgirl, Vanessa Salisbury. Vanessa grew up in the beautiful province of British Columbia, Canada. At such an early age, she has accomplished so many milestones already in her career. Truly passionate and trailblazing in the equine industry, what an amazingly talented and inspiring young woman. The Canadian barrel racing industry will forever remember this Canadian cowgirl. Vanessa is an amazing young Canadian woman, showcasing her cowgirl spirit in all that she does. Sharing some of her secrets and great tips on how to stay motivated and competitive, Vanessa Salisbury says, never give up. What a wonderful representative of the way of the Canadian cowgirl. Please welcome a beautiful Canadian cowgirl, Vanessa Salisbury. Hi everybody, Lori Duff here with the Cowgirl Channel of Canada. I am so excited to share with you this special time that I have here today with one very special Canadian cowgirl, Vanessa Salisbury. Welcome, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
This is awesome. I'm so excited that we were here at this venue and we could kind of sit and have an opportunity to chat. And just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about where you come from.
Yeah, so my name is Vanessa Salisbury. I grew up in Langley, BC. My family wasn't into horses growing up. They had some cows and stuff, but I know when I was 4 years old, I really wanted a pony party for my birthday party. So at four. I mean, I'd always been drawn to horses, but it was my fourth birthday, and my mom's like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to have a pony party.
Okay.
So there was a local business that did pony rides, or like a pony party.
Yeah.
So sure enough, my mom books that, and the pony that was there was for sale.
Okay.
So I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to have horses. So my parents are awesome. They're very supportive, but they also make us work for what we want. So her rule was, okay, I'll get you the pony, but you have to go see the pony every day and take care of it. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So that's kind of where it all started. And
wow. At the age
my
of
poor
4.
parents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and that's a beautiful thing too. A lot of the women that I've had on the show, it's really surprising that, and it's not even accidental, it's a given, that everybody has that support at home, right? Mm-hmm. And but they do sometimes give you like this reality check of like, you know, who you are, where you came from. So tell us a little bit about your family. Like, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a sister, and we're complete opposites. She and her boyfriend live in LA most of the time, so she does the acting, and I'm not an LA person, and she's not an Alberta person, so we're opposites. But it's good. It's been really good, and they've been really supportive to me, and
nice.
It's funny how I've just chosen this lifestyle from not being born into it, but I feel right at home with this. So.
Oh, good. Yeah. And you know what? I think that's a beautiful thing, because my family is not actively doing anything like this. I grew up on a farm, but they are very supportive. But it's nice. It's a nice kind of reality check to go home and just be with your family.
Yeah,
right?
And I honestly sometimes I always get asked the question, do you feel like you were at a disadvantage for not having the knowledge? And I don't think so, because I didn't have any preconceived ideas coming into this. I had to have an open mind when I learned from any trainers. I didn't have anything. I didn't have parents telling me this is the way, this is the right way. So whenever I'd talk with a trainer or meet someone new, I always had an open mind, because I didn't know anything. So and I didn't have anybody telling me what was the right and wrong way. So
so you learned on your own.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I found it to be an advantage, honestly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the little pony that you had, how long did you have the pony for?
Had her till, actually this winter she passed away. She was 34.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Oh, that's all good. But I kept her for years. Yeah, I got her when I was 4, and she lasted till
ponies are like that. They last a long time. But
yeah.
So if you were to share a story of if you could just flash back to your life, your time with that pony, What's a fun story you'd like to share with like the audience and tell them a little bit about that pony?
Well, I think all I need to say is it was a Shetland pony.
Okay.
So it was like to buck.
Okay.
Oh man, yeah, there was too many stories, but she taught me to just stay hooked, and we didn't really have the money to go out and buy fancy horses, and they tried to set me up with good ones, but that pony taught me to just stay persistent and fight through. And it was just kind of a funny story. We were at a little jumping show, and I kind of come off to the side. I was young, and anyways, I'm hanging off the side, and this only little 10-hand pony, she starts trotting to the judge and stops and was like, "Get this rider off of me." But she, even though we call her the devil pony, she was a sweetheart. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. We had a little pony too at our farm, little mini, and they're just so much fun.
They are fun.
They're so much fun.
Big personalities.
Yeah, they leave you with that like imprint of like what you just said, that story, like, because they're like their own little character.
Absolutely.
People say to me all the time, it's a mini horse. Like they're a horse, but they're in a mini form. But
Totally.
Ponies are the best.
Yeah.
So you like got involved in English and Western disciplines, and you started competing. What was that like for you? Like to just go right into that? Like what age did you start competing?
So I started pretty much just at the local shows, because we had Langley riders, so it was a little club.
Yep.
So started pretty much right away, just doing the equitation shows and whatnot, and then kind of got into Gymkhana, and my parents just wanted me to do everything I could.
Okay.
So I was very fortunate that they were like, learn as much as you can through every discipline. So did a lot of that, and then when I was about 8, really started getting into the Gymkhana side of it. So I was kind of like, I like the speed.
Yeah.
So I started doing Little Britches rodeos and kind of roping and barrels and goat tying and stuff, and that was when I really knew I wanted to be a barrel horse trainer.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
So it just hit you, and you're like, that's a for sure.
Yeah, it was my passion. I knew horses were my passion, but I thought it was so cool because I love the speed side of it, but I also love that you have to have so much training, and there is so many small details behind barrel racing that I really appreciated. So
So then the change happened in your life. You're like, okay, I'm packing a bag and I'm heading to Alberta and I'm going to do this. So you said that you started working with a cow horse trainer. Mm-hmm. So do you mind sharing a little bit about who that trainer was and where you kind of like how long you were with them? Or?
Yeah, so it was kind of crazy how it all happened because I had a really good job working for a finance company at the time, and I just wasn't happy. I kind of felt like they were awesome. It was an awesome company, but I was like, I'm just missing something in my life. I'm not happy. And I saw on social media that Veronica Swales was looking to hire like a loper, basically. Yep. And I had a couple mutual friends, and I was like, I want to do this. And she was like, I'm hiring immediately. And I'm like, that's okay. I can be there whenever. So they gave me good references, and I ended up packing my bags. And within 2 weeks, I moved to Mossley, Alberta. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, Ronnie, we call her. She's very, very talented. She rides cow horses. Her brother, John Swales, has won World's Greatest Horseman. I think a couple times, but very handy family. So it was really, really neat for me to incorporate the cow horse training background into my barrel horses. Yeah. She also trained barrel horses, but it was funny because her passion was the cow horses and my passion was the barrel horses. But I took what I learned from getting a cow horse broke and that draw that they get and everything, and I try to incorporate it with my barrel horses now.
Awesome. That's very interesting. So that'll be really cool for like a lot of our audience that are barrel racers or kind of up and coming, or they're trying to make a decision, or they're swaying towards doing a different discipline and they're going towards barrel. That's interesting. So they can take what they have, even if they're riding in a different discipline, and they can use that. And that's what a lot of horse trainers or people that are competing, you can take what you're doing and you can apply it in any format, right? So that's a really cool kind of spin for people to know about you. Yeah. So then what drew you to start competing in barrels?
Well, I'm very competitive. So
good.
Yeah. So I love seeing the result in our horses. I love putting in the work and then seeing the result. And I love futurity horses because you have no expectations going in.
Right.
They're babies. You never know. They might go win the world, or they might go knock all 3 barrels. So it's nice because you go in and you're just looking for that horse to try.
Yep.
So I love futurity horses because it's fun. It's good to see them grow and learn and get more confidence. I love to see a horse grow in confidence. So that's kind of when I decided I want to focus on futurity and derby horses. And this year I'll be focusing a little bit more on the rodeos, but still hitting some futurity and derbies. But yeah, it's all my passion.
Yeah, and so as you're traveling around and you're competing, you're doing this stuff. And because you're doing it actively all the time, kind of like full time is what I would say.
Absolutely.
So what's the plan? Like, as you're looking at what you've done now with your career and your young life, and you have all these foundational pieces down, what does it look like for you for like future? Like, what are some of your future goals of where you want to see yourself as like a trainer?
Absolutely. I think every year is a new goal, but I always say, because I always get the question, what's your goals for this year? What do you want to accomplish this year? And although I'm saying that I would love to accomplish making the CFR this year, you also have to be adaptable, because you don't know what will happen. I could make a run tomorrow and my horse could pull a suspensor, he could break his leg. I have to be adaptable to what life is going to throw me. So although I'd like to make the CFR, I'm going to work with what cards I'm going to be dealt.
Good for you.
You just have to keep going. And whether it's so I was asked once, like, are you going for the CFR this year? And I said, but you know what, if not, next year. I'm going to make the CFR, but it might not be this year, and that's okay. So that's the kind of mindset I have. It's not like a timeline. It's just, this is my goal, and I'm going to get there eventually. Whether that's 5 years from now, I'm just going to keep trying.
Good for you.
Just
we're going to let everybody know, because we may or may not cut that part out. But we'll see. But we're actually here. We're at Horse Expo in Alberta. Doing this event, and so this is where we're sitting down with Vanessa doing this interview. So if anybody's kept questioning what that was, that's a mic check for this morning's show. But so that's really cool. I love what you just said too about how you're going to kind of not go with the flow, but you're kind of whatever. That's a really important trait to have as a trainer and as a competitor. You need to be adaptable, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's like really relatable to a lot of people. So have you had any experiences with something where you've had an injury and you've like yourself or your horse, and you had to like regroup and like, okay, this year is like, or this next couple of months, and what do you do? Like, so what would you tell somebody else in your position that it's getting ready to compete this year, and they're like, when that happens, like, don't lose the faith, obviously, right? Keep your goals.
And that was kind of like in 2013, I broke my pelvis 7 weeks before a finals that I had made, and I told myself, they had said it's going to take you 3 months to learn to walk again, and I was like, I'm competing in finals one way or another, whether that's I'm loping a pattern or trotting a pattern, I'm going to get there.
Just gave me goosebumps.
So I just stayed hooked, and I did a lot of physio, and they were surprised, and I got it to finals. Maybe it wasn't a super finals, but you know what, I made it there, and that was my new goal, was just to overcome this injury and get there. And I always think everything happens for a reason. So last year, my gray horse was working really good at the rodeos, and unfortunately he got an infection in his leg, and I had to pull out of some rodeos, but that in turn made me focus more so on my futurity horse at the time, and you know what, it paid off tenfold, because he ended up raking in over 40 grand. So for his season, congratulations. Thank you. That's
awesome.
I just always say, like, had I not put that extra time into him, who knows whether I'd have my truck paid off. So you just got to go with it, and
those are achievable goals. Right? So that's so cool, because I love how you said it, like, so when one door closes, another one opens, and that's what a lot of people, and we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that towards the end. But one of the most important things that I tell people all the time is that you have to find a way to have a little bit of faith that it's all going to work out.
Absolutely.
But you have to put the work in too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So that must have been difficult for you to have to kind of go through that, like a physical disability, or you're hindered health-wise, but you still need to find a way to like teach, train, and stay in it with your horse. So yeah, how would you help somebody that you were talking to that was going through the same thing? Like, what would you say to them?
I would say focus on the positives. Like, let yourself sit in the negative for 5 minutes max. Focus on the positives, because if you're always in the negative side, you're never going to see those doors that are being opened for you. So my biggest thing is I just handle what's in front of me. I just take every day that comes. And Fallon Taylor, actually, she's awesome about that. Like, she always says, just give it 1% extra every day. And if you don't put in that extra every day, well, you'll never see results. It's what you do in your everyday life. So if you can do one thing that day to give yourself the best chance to be better towards your goals, then you're doing everything you can. But you got to put in the work. You can't just sit there and go, well,
it's
God's
going
to give this to me.
It's coming.
That doesn't happen like that.
You got to get up and you got to go. You have to go and get it yourself. And that's, I tell people all the time, when you're in business for yourself or you're doing anything, and a lot of the young women that I talk to, I've talked to a couple of ladies here in Alberta and in BC, Anna Gimlet and then Haley Ray Stewart, and you're fantastic in regards to like the same thing. It's the opportunities get presented and the path that you choose and you go on, it's yours. And you kind of got to carry yourself like, okay, I got to hold my breath and I got to push past and I have to keep going and I have to get to the other side of this because it's going to get better. And then something else great comes from that.
Yeah.
So and that's what's happening.
It's cool because, like I always say, everyone. Do you want to just keep?
Just keep. We're just going to pause for 1 second. We're going to pause because I hopefully can edit this out.
Should be good. So everyone has. I truly believe everyone has a winning streak and everyone also has a learning streak, right?
Yep.
So. But I always say you never know when your winning streak is going to be, so you might as well keep entering up because your next run, that could be the start of your winning streak. And that was for me last year. I was struggling so much, had some health things going on with my horses in the beginning of the season, and I just put in the work and I put in the time and I was patient, and eventually it was just like I just hit one really good run, and then all of a sudden it was just like a flood of them. And you know, had I decided to pull away and pull back and go, you know, I'm just gonna quit for now. Well, again, I wouldn't have my truck paid off.
Exactly. So when you're pushing yourself like that, you're giving yourself an opportunity to grow. Right. So as you're growing now, like if you look back at yourself 5 years ago, what would you say you were where you are now?
Oh gosh, no. Definitely not. Definitely not, because you learn and you grow with every lesson you learn. Like you just gotta take it as it comes and
enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think that the more work you put in and the more results you get, the more confidence you get. And it's not that you think you know everything. It's just going, okay, I'm willing to stay open-minded, and I'm okay if it doesn't work out in my favor, because I'm gonna find a way to get through this and make it work in my favor. So
good.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of is like, we're going to end towards there, and we're going to talk a little bit too about where people can find information about you. Absolutely. And where you're clinicianing and teaching and where you're traveling, competing, if people want to come out and cheer for you and support you in that way. But if you were to say something to a young girl watching this show today about hang in there, it's about to get great, what would it be that you would do? Like, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to put in the work and just follow your passion and never give up. And you know what? Stay humble. Because that'll get you so much further than anything. Yeah. And you can learn something from everyone. Yeah. Every single person that you run into, you can learn something. So I think that if you just keep hanging on and be adaptable, that you can pretty much conquer anything you want.
Oh, it's so wonderful to have met you.
Yeah, you
and
as
I'm
well.
So happy that this kind of worked out like this, that we could actually sit and do this. It's a little bit, we got a lot of activity going on. The morning's getting started here, but it's been great to meet you, and I'm certainly going to follow your career. And if I get an opportunity and I'm somewhere where I can cheer you on, I will be rooting for you. Thank you. Sure. I love supporting Canadian women, and then I love supporting any women that are involved in the equine industry and what they're doing. And it is hard. We try so hard to get there and do stuff. So tell us a little bit about where people can find you, follow you, and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So on social media, Facebook, you can find me, just my name, Vanessa Salisbury. It's my personal page I use for my business. On Instagram as well, Vanessa.Salisbury. And then, just...
And so do you clinicians, like, so people can contact you and they can have you come out and do a clinic with them and stuff like that? Because I know a lot of places. I know one lady that would probably love to talk to you. Her name is Shelby, and she has this podcast show. It's called We Can Hustle.
Oh, cool.
And it's barrel race based. So I did an interview with her last week just about, women entrepreneurs and in Ontario and stuff like that. So definitely going to hook you up with her.
That would be awesome.
She would probably just love to talk to you for sure. But I think that's one of the biggest things that I want people to understand what this show is about. It isn't just about networking and helping young women or, showcasing other women that are in any of the equine industries or arts and entertainment. As a female Canadian, I just want everybody to realize we're here, you and I, and we found each other, and then somebody can find you. And you can maybe put that person in connection with the next person that they need help with. So
it's a domino effect, and it's a small community, so we gotta help one another.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, this is awesome.